You were the first to do a comedic, on-air interview with our current Prime Minister, Mark Carney.
Yes.
At a Tim Hortons.
Yeah.
And I texted you afterwards because typically when you do these things, they shut down the Tim Hortons. And I said, Mark, why were there so many people at the Tim Hortons where you were interviewing Mark Carney?
Because I'm bad at my job, Tom. So, like, Mark Carney's people were talking to the show people and blah, blah, blah. And then they're like, we can do it in Hamilton. And I'm like, okay, we gotta go to Hamilton. And we show up and we go to this Tim Hortons. And I picked Tim Hortons, talk to people at Tim Hortons. And then we go off and I'm doing something and we're gonna meet at a certain time. And then I get a message from the RCMP people who go to the Tim Hortons before the Prime Minister and they go, they don't know you're coming. And I'm like, oh, yes, they do, Jean-Claude. And I booted over to Tim Hortons and I come up and I'm like, what's on the go? And they're like, you can't come in here today. Today we do inventory. And I'm like, I know, but the Prime Minister's coming. And then Mounties, now they're pissed off. And then, so all this is going on. And then I call Tim Hortons and Tim Hortons' head office doesn't know about it because sent an email earlier, but they didn't get it or whatever. And about half an hour later, this missus shows up in it was a Tim Hortons coat that's like for a sporty thing, like a little sporty jacket says Tim Hortons. And she kicks open the door and she's like, is this really happening? Is the Prime Minister coming here now to do an interview with you in this Tim Hortons? I'm like, yes. And she barges up to Mrs. and she goes, what's going on? She goes, they can't do this, it's inventory. And she says, well, that doesn't really matter today now, does it? And she says, get a mop. And then we all start mopping up. And then the Prime Minister comes in and we sit, and he walks in and he goes, and I'm like, what do you want? You want a coffee and a donut? And he goes, well, I'm off the sugar. And I said, you know what? You're my 7th Prime Minister. Can I give you some advice? And he said, yes, what? And I said, eat the friggin' donut.